Hi, and welcome to the Notice of Funding Opportunity Technical Assistance Recording for the Edward Byrne Justice Assistance Grant NOFO 2094-2964, which will be addressing co-occurring disorders for people who are involved in the justice system. Some important dates to remember. The NOFO was posted on February 14, 2025. The NOFO question submission deadline is March 28, 2025. Applications are due April 4th, 2025, no later than 5 p.m. Central Time. Budget Committee review and approval of recommended designations is tentative June 16, 2025. Program period of performance is tentative July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. This NOFO was developed from the JAG Strategic Plan of 2024 through 2029, and it will be addressing two priorities within the strategic plan. It would be to address mental health and substance use disorders for justice-involved persons, and also to support housing needs for justice-involved persons. Program considerations, meaning programs can utilize programs with a diversion or deflection focus, programs that consider multiple dimensions of needs and co-occurring disorder, trauma-informed victim services, programs in rural jurisdictions, housing assistance, and justice-involved persons as the target population for the service. Programs that incorporate housing as part of services for justice-involved people. The purpose of this NOFO is to reduce individuals' continued involvement in the criminal justice system by providing services that address co-occurring behavioral health, substance misuse, and housing needs. NOFO eligibility. This solicitation is open to Illinois local, tribal, and state units of government that may apply as sole applicants. There is an option for local units of government to apply also with a nonprofit organization or more than one nonprofit organization in a structure of a lead and a subgrantee application. This kind of application structure is subject to ICJIA's pass-through entity policy. This policy can be found on our website, and that will be linked in the description below of this YouTube video. Additional eligibility requirements. All applicants must be pre-qualified to do business with the state of Illinois, must be registered through the Illinois Grant Accountability and Transparency Act, Grantee Portal, be in good standing for all GATA pre-qualification requirements, and must submit and obtain approval of the GATA State Fiscal Year 26 Internal Control Questionnaire before the execution of the grant, meaning you can apply without having completed the ICQ, but if you get chosen as one of the applicants and awarded, you must complete the GATA State Fiscal Year Internal Control Questionnaire before we can sign your agreement or before we can execute the agreement. Available funds and ranges. This grant opportunity offers $1.4 million in state fiscal year 21 and federal fiscal year 21 and federal fiscal year 22 justice assistance grant funding, meaning those are the fund years from which we will be pulling the funds to then designate for potential grantees. ICJIA established a minimum and a maximum funding ranges that would be $50,000 as a minimum and $200,000 as a max. Applicants who request outside of these ranges will have points deducted, and award amounts may be modified from the proposed award amounts in order to align with the JAG funding limitations that we have with BJA, which means that we have to make sure that we are awarding 72% of the 1.4 million to local grants and 18% of the 1.4 million to state grants. So please keep in mind, if you are a state agency or a local agency applying for this would probably affect more state agencies. Your proposed award amount may be modified in order to align to our JAG funding limitations. Projected funding period will be from July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026. ICJIA may recommend to its board subsequent grants, an additional up to an additional 2 more grants, each for 12 months, for a total of 36 months. That is the max number of months that we can fund a grantee under this NOFO. But additional recommendations for additional grants are going to be contingent on satisfactory performance and the availability of funds. AmpliFund. This program will be using AmpliFund, which is a grant fund management system for the NOFO process. That means that all the applications responses must be submitted via AmpliFund. Emailed, mailed, hand-delivered applications will not be accepted. On the AmpliFund system, you will have access to the NOFO instructions. However, those NOFO instructions are a summary of the larger NOFO instructions. In order to be fully informed of the NOFO, please download and read all of the relevant NOFO instructions and documents prior to applying on AmpliFund. This can be found on our website at the address listed here, which is www.ICJIA.gov. When you go to our website, you can find grant opportunities and you will find the NOFO instructions for this particular NOFO. It is a larger document PDF of about 30 plus pages that will give you a lot more detailed information than what is listed on the AmpliFund website. When you're applying through AmpliFund, you first need to make sure that your organization is registered within the grantee portal. If you are already registered, you can skip to step 2, and you must the applying organization must identify an individual who will submit the application via AmpliFund. This person will serve as the primary contact for this application, and more than one person can have access to and complete the components of the application via AmpliFund. However, the primary contact must submit the application via AmpliFund. Listed here are some resources and guides on the next 2 slides, this slide and the next slide, resources and guides that will help you learn how to apply on AmpliFund, how to open an account with GATA, open an account in AmpliFund. So as you can see here, you'll have how to add new users, how to complete an application on AmpliFund, who to email if you have questions about the grantee portal, who to email if you have questions about the AmpliFund website. There's also a list of resource that will help you learn how to register on the GATA Grantee Portal, how to create an account, how to register in AmpliFund, how to complete an application in AmpliFund, how to get to know the Grantee Portal, and then a guide on a recipe for grant success. These will all be linked in the description of this YouTube video below. This is where you would register for AmpliFund. If you don't have a GATA Grantee Portal account, you will create an account by clicking on this link here. If you already have a Grantee Portal account, you can just simply sign in through AmpliFund right on this link. When you get to the NOFO application phase, this is how the NOFO will look on the AmpliFund website. You will have the name of the NOFO. This is from my the NOFO. You will have the opportunity details. You will be able to scroll down and read the details of the opportunity. And you will have evaluation and scoring tab, which you can click on and it will populate information based on the evaluation and scoring. And you will have right here the apply button where you can hit um, and start applying. I recommend that you refer to this evaluation and scoring tab, as it will provide you with the criteria that reviewers will use to score your application, question by question, section by section. So having this, going through it, you can scroll down once you're on the AmpliFund website, having access to this while you are filling out your program narrative will help guide you to write better responses. After you click the apply button, it will take you to this application form on AmpliFund. As on the top, you'll see these bubbles. You can toggle through the different parts of the application by clicking on these bubbles. Most of the forms for the application can be found in the application form bubble right here. When you click on this application form bubble, it will take you to a list of all the questions within the program narrative, the goals, objectives, and performance indicator, and you should also see a link for the budget in once you click on the bubble for application forms. So just make sure you go through each one of these links and complete the questions under each link. When it comes to the program narrative, the program design questions are probably the most important. It's a total of 28 points. You want to remember that the purpose of the solicitation is to reduce the individual's involvement in the criminal justice system by providing services. This is the key, providing services, because we want to make sure that we're addressing those co-occurring disorders. When you're writing your program design, keep in mind the requirements that are listed in the NOFO. There are 4 requirements that you must include within program design. This is the first requirement is that you must focus on service delivery. You must target populations that must be adults or juveniles who are involved in the justice system, including those who are in pretrial, release, detention status, probation, or on mandatory supervised release. Your program design must target population services that focus on these co-occurring conditions, and your program design must include some kind of housing assistance or referral. There is not a specific program design described in the NOFO because there is no one-size-fits-all approach. However, your program, as I already mentioned, must include these 4 components. When you are proposing your program, you can choose to expand a current program that you have or to implement a new program. Also within the program narrative, you can use program suggestions, but you must use evidence-based practices. Within the NOFO PDF that you will find on our website, you will see a list of program suggestions that are just suggestions. So some of these suggestions were reported by stakeholders to be the best practices in servicing people who are involved in the justice system and have co-occurring disorders. And while they're not requirements, the program suggestions are encouraged to be implemented in your program. For best practices, while the suggestions are not required, we do require that the practices that you choose to do choose to adopt are evidence-based. The program narrative will ask you and score you on evidence-based practices that you have implemented or will implement. Performance plan. The performance plan is a downloadable, fill in, and upload document within the AmpliFund system. The applications will be considered incomplete if the document is not filled in and uploaded to AmpliFund. When you're completing the table, you should change every X with a goal number for each objectives. Objectives may be added or deleted to meet the specifics of your strategy for addressing co-occurring disorders. If there is a particular program design that does not fit the objectives that are listed within the performance plan on AmpliFund, you are allowed to add or delete some objectives in order to meet your specific program. But do remember, anything that you change, any objective that you change, those objectives and goal numbers must be reasonable, measurable, and within the scope and goal of the program. Budget and budget narrative. This is a downloadable fill-in and upload document in AmpliFund. Again, applications will be considered incomplete if this document is not filled in and uploaded. The proposed budget items must have the following criteria in order for them to be allowed. They would need to be reasonable, cost-effective, necessary, and allocable to the purpose of the program, meaning they serve the purpose of the program. The budget narrative should be included for budgeted expenses. Where necessary, you should justify how the budgeted expenses fits the four criteria listed right here above: reasonableness, cost effectiveness, necessary, and allocable to the purpose. In some instances, you may want to explain how you arrived at estimated amounts for the budgeted items. A friendly reminder when you're doing your application on AmpliFund would be to save often. The AmpliFund system times out after 20 minutes of inactivity. By clicking Save and Continued, it's encouraged, is very encouraged as you start to complete your information in the AmpliFund system. The following documents must be completed in AmpliFund by 5 p.m. Central Time on April 4th, 2025, which is the deadline for applications. You must have a Uniform State Grant application. Those questions are incorporated within the AmpliFund system and can be filled out in the AmpliFund system. The program narrative, those questions are incorporated in the AmpliFund system on the website and can be answered directly on the website. The budget and budget narrative, as mentioned earlier, is a download and upload Excel that must be placed in AmpliFund. The performance metrics is also a downloadable Word document that must be completed and uploaded back into AmpliFund. And the implementation schedule is part of the program narrative, is a subsection of the program narrative, and that is in the AmpliFund system and can be completed in the AmpliFund system on the website. So those are the parts that will need to be completed for a completed application. If you have any questions regarding the NOFO, you can email me at cj.jagnofo2964@illinois.gov. The deadline to submit questions is 5 p.m. on Friday, March 28th. I will only be able to answer questions through that email. If questions are sent to my work email address, I cannot answer questions through there. If I am called, I will ask about questions. I will ask you to email those questions, ending our call. And all of the questions and replies will be posted weekly to our ICJIA website. So last reminder on important dates. NOFO was posted February 14th, 2025. The submission deadline for NOFO questions is March 28th, 2025. Applications are due April 4th, 2025, no later than 5 p.m. Budget Committee will review and improve recommendations June 16th, 2025. And the period performance, we're expecting these grants to start July 1st, 2025 and run through June 30th of 2026. And that is all. Thank you so much for spending some time with me learning about the new NOFO. I wish you best of luck and have a great day.